Hi, photography students. Welcome back to another video tutorial with yours truly, Miss Johnson. Love you much, Ohana. Not any frustration or anything like that. Just keep it calm, keep it clean so we can get through. So far, we have color splashed a photo. Yesterday in class, you should have completed your collaging photographs. Today, you're going to actually do two things in Photoshop. You will need your photograph that has a subject matter with light eyes, okay? So first, let me talk about a little bit about what we're going to do. Lee Jeffries is a photographer. He's out of London, and I'm going to show you some of his work. If you type in Lee Jeffries and Google him, his photographs will come up. He's extremely famous for his burning and dodging technique. What he does and believes in is that eyes are the window to the soul, as which many people do. It's not exclusive to him. But what he does is he adds drama to his subject matter by creating these harsh contrasts of darks and lights. This is pixelated. So let's go to Tools, Size and Images, Large, so we can see things that aren't blurry. So if you look at this subject matter, look at the details that are in her face and how her eyes almost seem to glow. The dirt that is around her fingernails has been enhanced. So it's more than just a high contrast. It's where you go in and pull certain features out to convey more of a meaning within your subject matter. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to actually go through a Lee Jeffries technique, and that's what you're going to be doing with your photograph. That's the first technique we're going to do. And then tomorrow, or in another video rather, you will enhance the eyes and change the color of the eye, okay? So let's close this out. And just like we did yesterday, my picture for my subject matter is on my desktop to make it easy to edit. So I took this on my phone. You don't need to have this with your camera. We have been having troubles if you're shooting in RAW. Eli Hartnett actually had that issue, so preferably not in RAW. So I'm going to take my photograph, drag it right to Photoshop, let it open up. Remember not to have a lot of things running in your background so that you can ensure that Photoshop does not crash, okay? So when my picture comes in, I've got a picture that really focuses in on his eyes. I'll go through my normal things, unlock the layer, all that stuff, okay? Now, on this particular technique that we're doing, I'm not really building up a lot of layers to start off with. So what I'm going to do is just keep it on this layer, and then I'll duplicate it once I get it to a point that I like it, if I need it. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to go to Image and Adjustments. I'm not going to mess with the color and saturation, but I do want the contrast. So let's go back to Image and Adjustments, and I'm going to go ahead and increase the contrast. The light I'm not really concerned about. And then I'm going to select OK. After that, I'm going to go back to Image and Adjustments, and I want to make it black and white. Now, this is where you have control as an artist. Now, typically if you're working with a photograph or your subject matter that is someone of fair skin, Caucasian, a light Hispanic, maybe an Asian, or a European, they're going to have more red, yellow, and sometimes green in their skin. People of color, whether you're Indian, Native American, African American, you're probably going to have more of the cyan, blues, and magentas in your skin. That's just the way it works. And so if you look, I have my cursor on yellow. If I adjust the yellow, there's going to be a drastic difference in my subject matter. Okay, so I want a little bit of the yellow. Now in his shirt, where those dark areas are, it's probably going to translate to a blue. So I'm going to bring that down a bit. You see that coming down? And his hair, I'm going to bring down just a little bit too. All right. And then I'm going to select OK, because that's a good balance of grays right here. Now I want to bring in my balance of black. So I'm going to go to Adjustment and Contrast, and I'm going to increase the contrast more. Really drastically. I want his eyes to pop. Okay. A little bit more. All right. Okay. So now I have it at a place where I like it. Now that I have this at a good contrast, I've got my balance of grays and black and whites, I'm going to duplicate the layer just because I want to make sure that if I make a mistake, I can go back. All right, so I'm going to go over to my left, my toolbar, and I'm going to go down again to the tools you used yesterday, which is burn and dodge. So dodge means I want to allow more light, and burn means that I want to make the areas darker. So we're going to dodge today. One thing that you saw when I just showed you some of Lee Jeffries' work is he really focuses on making the eyes glow. So if something is glowing, that means it's illuminating, so there's more light. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm hitting Command plus so I can zoom into Holland's eyes, and I'm going to just move this over. And I have my cursor at a level in which I can control, and you see everything is reflecting in his eyes, the outdoor. He has gorgeous eyes. So I'm going to zoom in again, and I'm going to make sure that I have my dodge tool selected, and then I'm on the layer that I want, and I'm going to go through, and I'm going to start lightening up that layer. You see the light coming in? It's very subtle. I don't have mine on all the way hard, so I'm going to increase it just a little bit so I can bring out those reflections. You can actually see the school and the flag if you look close reflecting in his eyes. So I'm going to keep going around. Now look at the difference in those two eyes. You see? I'm going to come over here, and I'm actually going to dodge some more light into this eye. I'm going to go around the iris. Really pull those out. Let's zoom out. All right. I think we need a little more right here. So I'm going to come in here and dodge that. All right. So in terms of his eyes, I'm going to continue to go around the iris. Now his eyes are glowing at me. That's what I want them to do. I want them to sparkle. Now, there are certain areas in his eye where there's a strong light source, and I'm going to go ahead and enhance those too. Just the areas that have that strong light source. So there's some right here around his eye. You can hold and drag. You don't always have to click too. Pull that out, and his eyes are popping. Now, once you get the eyes, the Lee Jeffries technique is about drastic contrast. So I'm going to find areas on his face that I think are enhanced and that I think are very interesting to look at. I'm going to decrease my harshness just a little bit so that I can control it more. And I'm going to bring those areas out. So right here on his lip, I want that to come out. That light hits his lip really gorgeous. So I want to make sure that I have that there. Just bring it out and enhance it. Some of his beard, I'm going to enhance. They're really gorgeous hairs. So I'm picking up light sources and I'm just enhancing them. And you can just go over the ones you want to. It's particularly the ones that are in this contrasted area. I think they'll stand out. All right, and here's a good place to switch. So I'm going to go to my burn tool now. And as you can see, it's huge. I don't want it that large. I want it at an area, size that I can actually control. So now I'm going in and I'm going to burn. So I'm going to make areas darker. I'm going to increase my harshness. And I'm going to make these areas darker. And you can see them. See that coming in. Let's zoom out some and see how he's starting to portray. Now, one thing that I noticed is he has these gorgeous little freckles. I'm going to darken those. So I'm going to zoom in so I don't make a cloud of circle. I just want to capture the freckles. He's got a couple of them around his eye. Make sure I have those. And I also want to darken his tear ducts and put some shadow in there. His pupil, the line that goes around the edge of his iris. And then I'm going to actually go ahead and pull out his eyelashes too. And I'm just going to go around my subject matter. Right here, his eyebrow. That's underneath his hair. I want that to be pulled out too. So as I start to zoom out, you can see that you're really enhancing your subject matter. Okay? This beard hair right here, I want to zoom in and get that. So I'm going to come over here, and then I'm going to burn that. Now, if you had a subject with wrinkles or something like that, you could go into each line of your wrinkle and pull them out as well. The bottom part that I have right here, I'm going to leave because I'm content with how that is. So I'm going to zoom up some, and I'm going to go ahead and burn just a few areas in his eye. I want to pull out those wrinkles. I went over a light source, and I want that shadow pulled out too. Zoom out. I have those details. So Holland is at a place that I'm completely comfortable with now. I like the way he looks visually. So what I'm going to do now is save him. I'm going to go to File, Save As, and we've already gone through this. You don't need to adjust anything underneath PSD. You're going to go right here to JPEG, save it to your desktop, make sure that the file size is maximum high, and then OK. I'm going to actually keep him here because we're going to go ahead actually and change the eye since we're already here. That way we don't have to worry about it. Now I already have him burned, so what I'm going to do, and I duplicated my layer so I don't have to drag it in, I'm going to go ahead and delete the layer. Yes. And I also want to go ahead and save this layer as well. This is the first layer that I had that shows the picture black and white. So File, Save As, and I'm going to put a BW in front of this so that I know it. Save it as JPEG, save, maximum file, and I'm good. All right. Now you can either drag a new picture in, or you can go to your history, and I can go all the way up to my original shot. Okay, so here's my original shot. Now I'm going to duplicate that layer, and we're going to play with the eye color. All right, so I am going to go and make sure I'm on my top layer. I'm on my top layer, and I'm going to erase everything but Holland's eyes. And I'm going to get a rather large cursor so that it doesn't take me as long. So if I erase it, of course it looks like I didn't do anything, right? No. Because if the eye is on, that means what's underneath is going to show through. So I'm going to go ahead and close that so I can see more of what I'm doing. And I'm going to erase Holland's skin, his shirt. Let's get rid of all of him. And I'm going slow around the eyes because I'm going to come back in and do some fine detail erasing. So let's go through here. And there are several ways you can do this. I guess sometimes if you want, you can collage your subject out or do a clip mask. Just decrease the size. Yeah, I can control that pretty easy. And I'm going to go around his circle. I'm going to go around his iris. Same thing on this side. Now the picture is going to blend into the one that you have underneath, so it's quite all right. If it's not perfect, you'll be okay. And it'll actually look a little bit more believable if you come in just a little bit, because there's always an exterior edge. Okay, so now I have my irises here. Everything else is gone. I'm going to go select a paintbrush, double click my color, and look how huge my icon is. So first, so there's no mistake, let's go ahead and decrease my icon so that I have a size that I can control. All right, okay, that's about good. Let's make it actually a little smaller. I can control that. All right, I think I want a Holland to have extremely blue eyes. Really, really blue. Okay, so now that I have my paintbrush and I'm on the correct layer, I'm on this layer, I'm going to go through and color in all around his iris. Okay. Then I'm going to go back to my cursor, turn my eye on, and Holland looks insane, right? Yes, he looks crazy. We're not going to leave it that way. So make sure that your top layer is selected. And right here under normal and layers, you have variations in how your photograph will look based on the difference in the layer that you choose as it relates to the paint that we just did, okay? One of my favorites is overlays, but there's several different ways that you can do this. So there's subtle differences in dissolve, multiply, blends, which you already have there. Those are some gorgeous green eyes. Or you have lighten. There's several different things that you can do. I am very much a fan of overlay because it's very subtle, okay? And what I'm actually going to do is blend that color with what I have underneath by changing the transparency. So I'm going to the opacity. I'm going to take that down some so that it looks realistic, okay? So now, here's what I have. So I'm going to zoom out. That is the color, the eye color that I've given Holland. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, change the JPEG style, and ooh, same name. So I'm going to do eye change. I don't want to replace it. So save. And I'm going to save it as again. Then I'm going to go right back up to my original. After I'm in my history, save as again. And then I change original and save it. So now I can quit Photoshop. I've done all the edits that I'm supposed to do for the day. And then you're just going to put them, as we have been doing, inside of your Keynote. So if I open up my Keynote, go to my Keynote, let it open from the same document that we've been working. Remember our live document, editing in Photoshop. When that opens up, you'll just create a new slide, or you can duplicate one that you already have, and then just delete the photographs that are already there. Change, I like it caps, changing eye colors. And then I'm going to put in the original and the edit. And then I'm just going to put them side by side. Very subtle differences, but more subtle, it's actually a little bit more believable. Okay? And you know, my students call me extra, which is fine. So I'm going to go ahead and be extra. And then I'll duplicate that again. And I'm going to put Lee Jeffries, if I can spell, technique. And go through the same thing. And that's it, guys.